Hey everyone, my name is Amy. Welcome to my channel. Today's practice is a very slow flowing grounding practice. So really good to do if you are up in your head, feeling kind of like overwhelmed, out of your body. This practice is going to help you come into feeling mode, begin to access the sensations in your body, and help you just feel a little bit quieter inside yourself, a little bit more rooted and connected to the earth and to this moment. And I think, a lot of us spend the bulk of our days in thinking mode, right? We're up in our head and busy. And so doing a practice like this, this is kind of like my like signature style. This is how I like to practice, just moving slow and really taking time to spread out and to come back home into my own body. So hopefully you feel the effects and you drop in a little bit from this practice today. So you can go ahead and roll out your mat and have a beautiful practice. All right, let's start in a seated position. You can sit cross-legged, or if you'd prefer to sit on your knees, feel free to take that option as well. And I always prefer to sit up on something, so maybe grab a folded blanket or a bolster or a block if you have it handy, and just slip it underneath your hips. And then if you'd like, you can go ahead and let your eyes come to close. And just let your hands rest easily over your thighs or in your lap. Tuning into your breath. And whatever you discover in these first few moments, you're gonna use your breath to just ever so slightly tweak your inner state of being. Just to bring it into a little bit more of a receptive, open, kind of calm place, right? And you might not go to your most calm place, but just a little tweak, right? Starting to shift our internal state to something that's a little bit more aligned with our true energy. So you can slow your breath down, and you can also start to smooth your breath out. Deepening your breath. And possibly feeling that inner shift of your mind calming down, your body becoming a little bit more relaxed, your energy becoming more open and receptive. The aim of our practice is not necessarily to change anything or fix anything, but it's about becoming aware. So we notice what does change, even though the intention isn't necessarily to change anything, but to just open into this awareness of what is. Changes will come, for sure. And usually with a yoga practice, positive changes will come. We'll feel better, right? Our bodies will feel better. We'll feel more peaceful. But the ultimate aim really is to become aware and to start letting just our true nature reveal itself. So the breath slows down and deepens. And we begin to let ourselves arrive. And in that arriving, we allow all of who we are to be here. The human parts of ourselves, and then also the expansive, kind of universal parts of ourselves. And we invite in our truth, our true nature, our innocence. So let's take 3 more slow breaths here, and we're going to breathe in through the nose. Sigh out through an open mouth. Twice more, breathing in and out. Take 1 more of those on your own. Great. And then your eyes could stay closed, or you can blink your eyes open and just bring your palms to press right here at the front of your chest. Interlace your fingers, push your palms forward and round your back. And just stretch here for a moment, let your upper back open. And breathe into the space at the back of your heart. And then inhale, lift your arms. Nice big stretch up and pull those arms back. Let your chest open. Lift your chin gently. Keep the jaw relaxed. And then on your exhalation, you can just let your hands release. And as your arms are floating down, rotate out your wrist a few times. Good. And then give those hands a nice little shake. And then when you're ready from here, the eyes, if they're closed, can blink open, and we're going to shift onto our hands and knees. And as you come over onto your hands and knees, let's take a child's pose to start. So just letting your hips stretch back and forehead coming to the floor. Take a few quiet breaths here. See, with this next exhalation, if you can just breathe out and ungrip your muscles a little bit, let your body sink. Again, letting your breath remain slow and deep, and really bringing that through the practice as much as possible. So we continue to tweak our inner experience, and again, not with the intention of needing to change anything or fix anything, but really to cultivate more presence and awareness of our entire self, and to allow our true nature, our innocence, our wholeness to begin arising. Take your last breath in and out. And then inhaling, coming up onto your hands and knees. And we'll start here with some easy cat-cows. So as you inhale, just letting your spine arch. And as you exhale, round out your back. Breathing in as you extend your spine. And breathing out as you round. Take your time. Move with your own breath. How about 2 more rounds? Feeling your way through these movements, nourishing your body. Good, and then the next time you breathe out, you can just bring yourself back through center, back through neutral, and then I'm gonna have you step your left leg straight back, and just kind of push into your hands a little bit here, send some energy into the heel. And then you can take your right toes and pivot them behind you off your mat here, roll onto your right hand and just take a stretch up with your left arm. Take a nice big breath. Reach that left arm overhead. Really pushing through your right hand, squeezing the right waist, the right ribs up and into the body. One more inhale. And then as you exhale, let that left hand come down to the floor. Come back through hands and knees and stretch your right leg straight back. And first just kind of draw some energy back into that heel. And then pivot your left toes off your mat, sweep the right arm up. If your wrist feels fatigued, roll the wrist out. Just really pressing through your foundation, lifting up that left side of the body, sweeping your left arm overhead. Reach really long, see if you can create a nice stretch through that left side. And then breathing out, let that left arm release. Come back to your hands and knees. And then let's do a few circles for the spine here. So you're gonna imagine you're drawing a big circle with your rib cage. So reaching out to the left with your ribs and then circle them up, rounding out your back, and then reach the ribs out to the right. And then circle through center, arching your back. So do that a couple more times to this side or in this direction. Your elbows can bend and straighten. This doesn't have to be perfect here. You're just rolling your rib cage like a barrel a little bit. And then find a graceful transition to the opposite side. As you're moving and breathing here, notice your jaw. You could open and close your mouth, releasing your mouth. And sometimes that can come with just exhaling through your mouth. Good, and then come back through center with your spine nice and long. And you're gonna tuck your toes and have your feet hip distance apart, and then walk your hands back and lift up your knees. And then once you're here, kind of walk your heels in towards each other. So your heels could actually touch. And then you're gonna pull back with your hips and your knees and kind of reach out with your arms forward. So you could be up on your fingertips like this, sometimes called claw fingers, or you can have your palms flat. You're gonna dip down, let your head hang. Try to create a nice stretch from the tips of your fingers all the way back through your hips. My head even comes to rest on the floor. Maybe yours does too. But no worries, if it doesn't, you could even put a block beneath your head if you'd like. And then just let your hips pull back. Breathe deep. Nothing needs to change in this moment. We are just waking up and becoming more aware of what is right here with us in this moment. Through that acknowledgement, things do change. They definitely change. But our main intention with this practice is to just be, to feel, to move, to breathe, and to allow our true nature to begin to rise up into our awareness. Take one more breath. And then lifting your head, walk your hands back, and then straighten out your legs. Separate your feet hip distance and let your body just dangle. And maybe sway your hips a little from side to side. Shake things out a little bit. If your wrists fatigue easily, maybe you turn the palms up. Give them a little stretch. Good. Breathe out. And then on your inhale, lengthen through your spine. Exhale, release and fold. Inhale, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Try to find a really smooth rhythm here. Last time, breathe in, lengthening out from your low back through your mid back. Your head is really the last thing that lifts here. Draw the shoulders away from the ears. You can keep your knees bent. And then exhale, lengthen and stretch the body forward. Good, and then inhale. Draw your spine out once more. Again, your feet are hip distance, and then just walk your hands out and come into your first downward facing dog. And any stretches that just feel organic and natural to you here, go ahead and take those. Just kind of starting to wake up the feet, the legs, the hips. Spread wide through your fingers. Get nice and tactile through your palms of your hands, the soles of your feet. And this is a nice little inversion here, so feel your head hanging heavy. Relax the front of your throat and kind of soften the muscles of your face. Let the muscles of your face get a little face lift here, releasing them with gravity. And then lift your right leg, take a breath in, just send that right leg up, open through the hip, bend your knee. And again, you could explore some just organic movement through that right leg. Great, breathe in once more. And then as you exhale, you're gonna lunge your right foot to the outside of your right hand. So it's a wide stance, and then we're going to tap that left knee down. And once you're here, kind of in this low, deep lunge, turn your right toes out slightly. And you can stay up on your hands. If you happen to have a block or blocks, you could prop your forearms up on your block, or you can lower all the way down to your elbows onto the mat. And then maybe you move around a little bit here, rocking your hips from side to side. And for a little deeper opening, you could even tuck your left toes and lift up your left knee. If you're all the way down on your elbows, come back up to your hands and then just take a little twist to the right. So your right hand could come to your right thigh. You could take your gaze over that right shoulder. Watch that this left hand is not so far back that you're kind of pressing into the wrist too much. So your shoulder is either right above the wrist or slightly behind the wrist. And then you could even go deeper here if you want. You could keep leaning into those hips and maybe bending your left knee and grabbing hold of it with your right hand and just looking over your shoulder. And this is all meant to feel good. So like I'm kind of sinking down into my shoulder here for a moment. You can also push and lift up out of your shoulder. And just notice if you start to clench in the jaw, right? Just see where you can be here in this pose. Take a breath. You can release that foot if you've got it. Circle back through center. And then lifting up your left knee, stepping all the way back to your down dog. And just take a couple breaths, feeling into your hips. And then let's lift both heels. So lift both heels up. Look towards your belly button. You can kind of feel how that begins to round out your back. And then you're going to roll forward until you're in plank. So here too, the head would really be the last thing that lifts, and you can always tap your knees down if you need to. Otherwise, just let your muscles fire up. Take a breath. And then exhale, pull all the way back to your down dog. And then we'll switch sides. So you're going to lift up your left leg and open up that hip, bend the knee. Keep those palms spread wide, just breathing into that left hip. And then we'll lunge it forward with the exhalation. And again, you're stepping to the outside of your left hand. And you can turn your left toes out a little bit and then release your hips down. And so again, you could be up here high on your hands. You know, you could always come to your knuckles as an alternative if your wrists get tired. Or you can also lower to your elbows, either propped up on blocks or all the way down. So as we move slow like this, working into our hips, right, it has a grounding effect typically on our bodies and minds, helping us come more fully into our body. And then from that vantage point, we can check things out, right? We can get more tuned into ourselves, more anchored in this moment, holding space for that innocence to arise from within, our innocent, true nature. That part of us can look at the world through eyes of curiosity instead of judgment. All right, so if you're down on your elbows, come back up. Take a little twist. So press into, good press here into your left thigh. Right, maybe you bend your right knee, reach back and grab your foot. You could lift up the chest a little bit. Again, kind of just let this feel good for you. Breathe deeply. And if you've got your foot, you can let that foot release. Bring both hands back down to your mat. You might need to kind of turn those left toes in a little bit. Scoop up the right knee. Step into your down dog. And then breathe and come into plank. And this time from plank pose, and again, you can tap your knees down if you need to. Otherwise, just lower your right elbow, right forearm, and then your left elbow and forearm, and come into a low plank. And again, knees tap if you need to. If you need a little extra support, otherwise you can lift the knees and just hold here, squeeze the navel up and in, feeling your muscles activate. Shaking is perfectly fine. And then when you're ready, see if you can plant your right palm, plant your left palm, you're back to plank, and then you're back into your down dog. See if you can slide your shoulder blades away from your spine. Let the neck get long. And as you press firm into your hands, reach your fingertips forward. And see if that pressing down of the palms can propel your pelvis, specifically your tailbone and the back of your pelvis, your sacrum, back in space. Good, and then from here, walk your feet to the front of your mat. Take a breath in, extend your spine, and exhale, fold. Just release here for a moment, feel your spine get a little bit longer. And then with your knees a little soft, you're just going to roll up. So let your head hang heavy. Roll yourself up through your spine. When you get to the top, just pause and mountain pose. Take a breath in and out. So many parts of us like to be on the go. Our mind, right, likes to be busy. Sometimes it's a true practice to just let yourself move slow and be present when maybe there's nothing happening that's mind-blowing, right? There's no drama in this moment. You're just standing here. So let's bend the knees. Sink back into your hips. Reach your arms straight forward so they're in line with your shoulders here, parallel to the floor. See if you can let your shoulders release down your back. Keep your eyes focused. Sink down a little deeper, pull in through the lower belly. And then for a little bit more challenge in those shoulders, just reach your arms up. And then as you breathe out, pull the hands down and fold forward. Inhale, lengthen. Shift some weight into the balls of your feet. Good. As you exhale, step back, plant your palms, step back into a plank. Hold here in your plank, take a breath in. And then exhale, Chaturanga to the belly. Inhale, Cobra. Little back bend. And then maybe full up dog. Spread your toes, ground the base of the big toes, pinky toes. And then all the way back through your downward facing dog. Holding here, a couple breaths. Great, take one more breath here, breathe in. And then as you exhale, step your right foot forward between your hands. And you're gonna rise up as if you're coming kind of into warrior two pose. And then we're gonna actually come into goddess pose or horse pose. So you can come on up, let both feet kind of rotate outward, and then sink down into those hips. Let your hands come to your thighs here, and you could turn your fingers to point in, and then we're just gonna do, or you could point them out so you can kind of experiment, see what works good for you. Let those hips drop nice and low. Maybe shift a little side to side to get into it. And then we're gonna drop the right shoulder down through center. And as you do that, kind of push the thighs away from each other and look up past your shoulder. And then come back through center and drop the opposite shoulder down. Look up towards the ceiling behind you. Press your thighs away from each other. Good. Come up through center. Do that one more time. Just go side to side. And then come up through center. And again, those hips are sinking low. And see if you can lift your torso so you're upright. take your arms out to the side, and then you're going to bring your arms into goalpost arms. And from here, you could even make mudras. You could take your index fingers and thumbs to touch and squeeze the other 3 fingers together lightly. Keep sinking down into your hips. Gently pull in through the lower belly, maybe closing the eyes for focus or keeping them open for balance. Shoulders sliding down. Lower jaw heavy. Get light in your toes if you can. Good, and then on your next breath in, straighten out your legs. Extend the arms out long and release your hands to your hips. And then rotate your feet in. So toes are turned in slightly here. Roll your shoulders back. Lift up your heart. Breathe in. And then exhale, bend into your knees, tip forward, bringing your hands down to your mat. Inhale, lengthen, and exhale, fold. Take some slow, deep breaths here and just kind of feel the soles of your feet on your mat, palms of your hands rooting down. When you exhale, you might even really tune into your abdomen and just notice how your belly can rise up. It can relax up towards your low back. And then on your next breath in, go ahead and lengthen out your spine again. And then you're going to bend into your right knee and walk your hands maybe a little bit over to the right. So you could do just a gentle bend. Keep pressing through the outside edge of your left foot, feeling that inner left thigh stretching. Or if your knees and hips, everything feels good, maybe you drop all the way down. So my right heel is actually lifted now. And you could turn your left toes up. And then go ahead and just shift your hips over to the opposite side. So again, you might just take a little bend or a big bend. And you could lift your right toes, you could lift your left heel here, and just feel a nice stretch through the inner left or inner right thigh probably for you. Good, now shift back up. Do that once more from side to side, just kind of go at your own flow. Nothing too fancy, honor what your body allows. And then come back up through center. And again, lengthen out your spine, and then you're going to rotate, walk your hands to the right, rotate your right toes. And you're coming back into your lunge position, and then holding here, and we're going to twist. So you can lift your right arm into the twist or take prayer twist. And you can always tap that left knee down, so if that provides a little bit more stability, and then you're going to wrap your left elbow to the outside of your right thigh, and your palms will come to press into prayer hands. Maybe you're lifting up the left leg. Just breathe here, gazing up if you can. Left leg straight and strong. Take one more breath. And then as you exhale, let your hands come back down to the floor. And we're going to plant the palms, and as you step back, you're going to lift your right leg up. Bend your right knee. And those of you that maybe are familiar with Wild Thing or Flip the Dog, you could go ahead and flip and let that right foot come to the floor behind you. Reach out with your right arm. And bringing yourself back, maybe lifting that right leg up, and then planting it to the floor, back into your down dog. And we'll take a breath in, roll yourself back forward into that plank. And then all the way back to down dog. Inhale the breath. Exhale, step your left foot to the front of your mat. And you're in a nice deep lunge. You're going to ground your right palm, left arm lifts. Option 1. And then option 2 is to come into prayer twist. So that right elbow works around Palms press. Breathe here, even though there might be a little restriction, you can always tap your right knee down. And then exhale, release. Ground your palms. Lift that left leg up. Open the hip. Bend the knee. And maybe drop the foot back behind you, coming into a wild thing. Should just feel good, right? Come back through center. Try extending that left leg up once more, inhaling, and then exhale, releasing the left foot down. Breathe in. And this time as you exhale, just drop your knees, take your hips back. Find a child's pose. Take a few deep breaths. Slow things down. Feel yourself coming fully into feeling mode versus thinking mode. Right? Thinking mode, we're up in our head, kind of disconnected from our body and what our body is feeling. Feeling mode, right? We're totally tuned in to our body. Almost at one with our body and what is arising in the moment from within. Take one more deep breath here. Breathe it out. And then slowly just take your time. You can rise up onto your hands and knees and bring your feet around. And we're going to do a little seated action here. So if you are somebody who, if you just know the back of your legs or your back is really tight, grab a folded blanket or a bolster. Just have your props nearby. You might want to use them. I love blocks. I just recommend everybody have 2 blocks and a bolster. I don't use a strap a lot, but some people love to have straps, so I have a strap, I just don't use it very often. So you could boost up your hips here on your bolster or your folded blanket. Let your legs kind of stretch out in front for a moment. Take a breath in and out. Here you are, you made it to the floor, you're sitting down, and we're gonna take head to knee pose. So you're gonna bend your left knee, bring the sole of the foot to your inner thigh. And take your fingertips behind you for a moment and just let your chest open a little bit and kind of roll those shoulders back, squeeze them together, flex your right ankle. Maybe lift your gaze a little. Breathe in. And then as you exhale, you can begin to tip forward. So this is a place where if you had those blocks, right, you could lean into the blocks. Now, if your hamstring's really tight, maybe you bend your right knee. Propping up on something can help as well. Or just stay upright. And you could keep even pushing into your fingertips. Now, those of you that are able to, maybe you're gonna go way into the fold, and maybe your head will touch your knee. And then you just breathe here. Restorative option, rest your forehead on your blocks. And if you choose this option, I always recommend when your head comes to rest that you are creating a downward pressure on your forehead. So the skin of your forehead is moving towards the tip of your nose, and that just has more of a calming effect on the nervous system. So we're going to take about 4 to 5 more breaths here. Just nice and slow. Your eyes could be closed. How can you let yourself just be here despite all the distractions around you, despite your mind coming in with reasons that you need to get up and end your practice right now? How can you choose this moment and then just relax into it? Feel the body releasing right into this moment onto your mat. Take one more breath in and out. And then just gently breathing in, lift your gaze, walk your hands back, sit up nice and tall. Switch sides, so you can take your left leg out now, draw your right foot in. Again, you could prop up on your fingertips behind you, maybe you lean back a little bit here and you just lift up your chest. Maybe lifting the head or even taking the head slightly back if that feels good. Flexing that left ankle, and you can stay here. You could stay upright and just kind of try to tip a little bit forward or start to fold forward. Just showing you those options again. Nice thing about the blocks, they have all these different heights, so you could be here with your blocks, breathing, right? You could be down a little lower. Some of you are gonna release and fold all the way in, and at this point your back is gonna round a little bit and your forehead could come and rest near your knee. And then we just breathe, and I want you to slow the breath down and become mindful to where the end of your exhalation is. And where the end of your inhalation is. Notice that space between the breaths. And just see if you can let yourself fully be there. So let's take one more slow breath. Breathe in and out. And then inhale, you're going to begin to rise, come on back up. Stay nice and tall. Hopefully you're feeling that grounded energy. Let's do one more seated pose. Let's do Baddha Konasana. So this is another good pose to do propped up on a bolster or a folded blanket, and then you're going to bring the soles of your feet together. And since I have the blocks handy, sometimes your knees can feel strained in these poses, and so blocks are great to just give those knees a little support. So you could bump the knees up on your blocks or even folded blankets or pillows. And then starting up right here, again, maybe you take your fingertips behind you and you just lift up and then kind of push into those fingertips and just see if you can begin to come forward with your chest open. And if you feel like there's still room to move, walk your hands out in front and begin to fold. Same thing here. Once you get to a certain point forward, you're gonna round into your back a little bit, and maybe if you're looking for a lot of grounding today and support, your forehead once again could come and rest on your block. Notice what you're sensing in your body. Come back into feeling mode, out of that thinking mind, just for now. The mind is not going anywhere, I promise. It's going to be there, chattering away. Whenever you turn your focus back to it, but right now, can you focus on your body? your breath, and what you're sensing. Take about 2 more breaths. Soften the whole body, the skin of your body. As you breathe out, muscles softening. And then slowly, as you're ready, just walk those hands back. Lift yourself up. All right, so I lied. We're gonna do one more seated pose, and this one will just be a short little release. So I'm gonna have you take both legs straight out now and just let your body melt forward. So this, again, I'm showing how to use a block, but you can just melt forward and let your head hang as well. And let's just take a couple breaths here, feeling the back of your legs, releasing into your mat. See if your whole body can just release with gravity here. Going inward with your focus, your attention, becoming curious about what is your inner experience right now. Being with that, whatever you're sensing, feeling, noticing, without needing it to change, even though it will change. Sometimes we get stuck in loops in our life where we feel like we're stuck. Nothing's going to change. We're going to be that way or in that situation forever. But the one thing that I have come to trust in is impermanence. And that everything is constantly changing. Take 2 or 3 more breaths here. Breathe into your spine. And then as you inhale, you can just roll up. All right. And then let's come down onto our backs. And I'm actually going to use my bolster underneath my lower legs in Shavasana today, just to give myself a little extra support. So you could choose to grab something like that if you want to experiment. And once you have kind of reclined back here, let's just do an easy twist. You can draw your right knee into your chest, take a breath. And then as you exhale, just cross that leg over to the right. Just nice and easy. Maybe there's a little bit of movement here. Breathe into your low back. And then come back through center. Let that right leg stretch out. Switch sides. Left knee to the chest. Breathe in. And then exhale, easy twist. Cross it over to the side. Maybe incorporate a little bit of gentle movement. And see if you can bring your breath into the low belly and into the back. Come back up through center, inhaling. All right, and then any last little stretches that you might want, you can take those. See if, again, if you have everything you need and you feel comfortable, Your arms resting alongside your body, or maybe hands over the belly like me. It's nice to come into a practice and just move and breathe and feel and choose the moment. Choose to observe your thoughts, but not be at one with your thoughts, or to believe in your thoughts. And to let the magic of this practice work upon you. Allowing the body to receive nourishment, your innocent, true nature to arise and maybe even express itself to you through ideas or insights or sensations and feelings. There is a science to this practice, but there's a lot of magic and mystery to this practice as well. And a lot of mystery and magic within ourselves. So we receive that. We allow that to come with us when we leave our mats. So feel free to keep resting. I highly recommend extending your Shavasana if you have time to do so. And if not, you're just going to begin to stretch out through the toes and the fingers, the arms and the legs. You could circle out your wrist, your ankles. Gather the knees into the chest. Gently roll to your side and ease yourself up. Take a moment to sit. And just thank yourself for showing up on your mat today and doing this practice. I know firsthand that it's not easy sometimes to carve out this time and space. Self-care is not easy for a lot of people. So really thank yourself for showing up today. Take a nice deep breath in through the nose, out through the mouth. Gathering your palms to press at the front of your chest. I so appreciate you being here. Thank you for joining me, and have a beautiful rest of your day. Namaste.